Let's take another call.
Hey, boys. Baby Rhino. I have not called in a while. I just felt like it was time with all the news that is going around and swirling around our team. It's old news now that we have the number one pick, but I really wanted to kind of ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that we traded up for number one because we are 100% without any conviction chosen one player? That's the first question. The second question is these stupid rumors about us trading down. I don't understand it. Why would we give up that much and DJ Moore for us to trade down? I mean, I could see if they fall in love with two quarterbacks, but anyway, I'm looking forward to Cody's analysis of these quarterbacks because I want to say CJ Stroud, but I don't know. What are you guys thinking? And free agency, we picked up a couple of defensive players yesterday that were really important. Do you guys think we're going to go for anybody else? Guys, everybody hit that like button and subscribe to this podcast. These guys do it week in, week out. And as always, boys, keep it up. Keep pounding. Have a good night.
Thank you, Baby Rhino. Appreciate the support. And a great call, too, that brings so many things that we're going to, not only that we're talking about this evening, we talked about last night to a little bit, but that we're going to be talking in the weeks to come. And that is what really was the impetus for the Carolina Panthers trade, was the trade to just secure, was it for a specific player? Was it to secure a specific spot? Was it to bring some certainty into the future? And I think I don't think the Carolina Panthers necessarily traded to number one because they have decided who their guy is. But I do think that they said this, there is a guy in this class that's worth a number one pick.
Right.
And we're going to get him this year. We believe that there is one of those players, and likely between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, that we will decide in the next 40 days who to marry, but we would marry them both. And this is why I don't think trading back is really a real option. I think it would be a bizarre statement too about who you are putting the hands of your franchise into as well. Imagine if did we not agree last night, Cody, that Houston is the only person you can trade back here with?
Yeah, that is the only person.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't drop farther out. You could not squander this moment and move to 7 again, or 4.
Not at all.
So it has to be Houston.
You have to guarantee yourself coming out of this year's draft with either of CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Anything else outside of 2 does not guarantee you one of those 2 guys.
Here is the thing. This is why I don't think trading back is a real deal. It's too Madden. It's too fantasy footballish for me. It's too draft day with Kevin Costner for me to trade back here and to moneyball it and to get some other picks, because that means that Houston has the conviction in one guy. They have the conviction that we want one of these 2. We don't want either one. We want one of these 2. And then you are of the position where you would just take either. And to add on top of that you have all of those assets in analyzing quarterback from Frank Reich to Josh McCown to Jim Caldwell. And then you're going to tell me that Houston, with a brand new defensive head coach, is going to have such conviction on who out of those 2 it is, but we're coin flippish? I can't believe it. I don't know who we're drafting, but I would be stunned and slightly disappointed if the Panthers traded back. I want a statement about our future, Cody Lashney.
Yeah, and then also, like I said, for all intents and purposes, you're letting the Houston Texans decide your fate for the next decade plus by letting them make the decision. Again, I wish nothing but success for both of these 2 dudes. And I think most of Panther Nation right now is like, hey, I like them both. I'm not disappointed if we get either one of them. So that's a good situation to be in, but neither of these guys are guaranteed to be successful. And if one of these guys goes on to be a perennial all pro and a future Hall of Famer, and one of these guys is a middling quarterback who flames out in a few years, that's going to be a big stain on your organization that's going to live in history. So if you're picking number one, do your proper evaluations, have your one-on-one sit downs with all of the prospects, learn what makes them tick, learn what kind of upside you think they have, learn what kind of leadership abilities you feel they have, and then pick and decide
with
who
conviction.
yes,
Pick with conviction. That's
who
what I
is
want.
going to be the face of the Carolina Panthers for a decade plus.
I agree. And that's why I don't think trade back is worth it. I almost think it's a saying that you aren't convicted. Like it's like an admission that we can't decide between these two, so we're going to let Houston do it.
Yeah. The only reason why I would like it though is if we were able to finagle another first round pick. Now let's just say hypothetically.
Oh, see, this is the
I'm just
moneyball
saying
part.
I'm not even saying it's gonna happen. I agree with you. We're agreeing. I think we should pick whoever we like best at number one. But let's just say we did trade down a spot, recouped next year's number one draft pick that we lost, and still came away with CJ Stroud. Like that would be pretty damn
If
cool.
that happens, we have to just say this. David Tepper, you could save so much money if you just hired us to be your front office. We would have done this. This is something the C3 Panthers podcast would have done 2 years ago, bro.
Sure.
Like
Hey, I said that the other day. I said we could hold Houston hostage. That was the whole thing. I'm telling you, it's possible.
Well, Greg, people were getting mad at me on Twitter because I was like, look, if they are, and this is if Houston is that desperate for the number one overall pick, we hold all the leverage. If you want to make a pick that important for us, essentially, then in my mind that requires 2 first-round picks, number 12 this year and 1 next year. And by the way, they have 2 first-round picks next year, so they can afford it. It's not even expensive for them.
Yeah.
Dude, Lynn with the comment of the night, and it was a question. Do you think this special forces guy interviews them? Hell yes. That actually is, we brought him in. He's the decider here. He's like watching Criminal Minds, and he's the profiler. The special forces GM guy, and what he does. And you know, when they interviewed him about this, or I read an article on him, and what he talked about is that great eliteness is a trait. It's not just elite football. Elite, like, is that some people, like what you're looking for is that he's thinking that's a measurable at the combine, is your eliteness score.
Okay.
Like there's something in you that you have. Like what makes us, why is it that a Navy SEAL is not the best athlete? The best, they're not the biggest, strongest, you know what I mean? The Navy SEALs, like their eliteness is not in being able to run the 4.4.
It's a lot of mental.
Right. Yeah, it's like not die. Like, yeah, it's like I will live through this. Persevere. So I mean, I think it's an interesting thing to think about, is like, what would his notes is like, look, is that if he's in the room and they do this evaluation, like Cody's saying, everybody's gonna, when we talk about Frank, when we talk about X's and O's, we're gonna go to Frank Wright. We're gonna say, Frank, who do you think is better? Bryce Young, what can you be, you know, like who, like if you could do anything with this person, which one would it be? Then you go to, I don't know, you would go to somebody else and you'd say, all right, let's talk about the athleticism. So you go to the like head of scouting or whatever. When you got to that dude, his one input would just be, I think this dude's got it more than that guy. That's what he is there for. He was brought in for this single question. Love it.
You're right.
Next, what else are we talking about?
I think we're done with all of the. Oh no, we got one more. Tender offered to Sam Franklin. Yeah.
Hey, special teams player. Special teams matters, dude.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Special teams matters. And to be Franklin about it, our special teams was very good last year, and we gave a lot of credit to Chris Tabor.
And Sam Franklin wasn't what he stepped up. He was a big part of this special teams unit last year.
Yeah. And this matters. This matters in football games. And the championship team, special teams make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And they have hurt us in the past. And so, you know what? We're happy for Sam. Good. It matters. It matters. I know we want to talk quarterbacks. I know we want to talk defensive ends. But these are components of building a good team.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to jump for joy over special team signings. Right. But hey, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Coach P in the chat. He's the supplier of our brand new background that we've got right here with C3 Panthers Podcast at the bottom. So shout out to Coach P in Germany, mind you, because C3 we're international. So
thank you so much, Coach P. Our old one bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, I told him
I never got around to fixing it. No, really, the dimensions that was on the old OBS when we used OBS, which I wish we could use instead of StreamYard. If we were in the same room, we would have a TV show instead of this.
Yeah, we would. But
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you to Coach P. I mean, listen, that's all for the Panthers news. What do you say?
Got a couple more calls if you want to get through them real quick. It's like 3 or 4 more. All right, let's just.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier. Hey man, y'all seen what's up, man? Pat Eflin is gone. Finally. I know he played pretty decent at center, but we signed back Bozeman, which is good. And I just found out, man, we picked up Andy Dalton, man, as the bridge quarterback. The red rifle was in Carolina. I wasn't really happy about it, but at the same token, there's worse options out there. Then I seen that Stephon Gilmore went to damn Dallas, and the Colts for a 5th round pick. I'm like, why couldn't the Panthers done that, man? Just for a 5th round pick. I'm like, come on now, y'all. Because he was a decent corner. I know he's getting older and everything like that. And he's from Rock Hill, South Carolina, too. So I don't know. I don't know if they didn't want him back. I don't know if he didn't want to come back. But I was kind of pissed off about that and everything. But so far, so good. It is what it is. We just need a wide receiver. And we need some linebackers, like for real. Now, that dude we picked up from the Saints, I know nothing really about him. I know he's a Carolina boy, whatever. But we're going to see. We're going to see what's up. We picked up that safety from the Bengals. He looks like he's a damn baller, man. So we're going to see. Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
I'll go real quick. The idea of trading for Stephon Gilmore again for another 5th round draft pick would be absolutely hysterical. This was we weren't in the running for this. If we didn't want to pay him last year, we weren't. I know we would have traded 2 5th round picks when we could have kept him last year. Like he got a really rich contract with the Colts when he went over there.
But if we traded like a 4th round this time,
Oh man,
that's a Matt Rule thing to do right there.
Hey, by the way, some due diligence here. I forgot to read this earlier. The real _AP said, with the $5 love bomb, says, could Stetson be a diamond? And why is no one discussing him, even with 2 natties? Oh man, it's because he's eligible for an AARP card, man. He's like 39.
Not that old.
He's 39 years old out here, Stetson Bennett. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, he was very productive for a national championship winning team. He's going to be one of those guys that some team takes a late round flyer on him. He's going to find his way into being a starter, being a backup first. And then when he gets his chance, he might never let it go, man. faster and shiftier than people gave him credit for while he was at Georgia. But yeah, man, there's pictures of him and Theodore Roosevelt just chilling, you know, hanging out, having beers. You know, the good old
what
boys
are you talking
back
about?
in the day.
He's saying he's old. We signed Chris Winkie. I don't want to hear anything
Theodore.
about it. We drafted Chris Winkie.
No,
but,
yes, actually, that is a terrible. But let me see. How old? When was he born?